Tell us about the attraction of Norwalk for you.
Well, Norwalk, you know, they used to always have the night of fire. You know, as a kid growing up, you always wanted to come out because it was a big spectacle with fireworks and everything else. But now there's a national event here. And when we come here, we have all the same fans that come out here, and now it's no more match racing. Like, we're racing for the big money, and we're racing for points, and we're racing for the all-inclusive NHRA Full Throttle World Championship, which is just huge in itself.
You hold it as a special place in your heart because you lost, very close loss last year, and obviously looking to avenge that loss this year.
Well, for sure. I mean, this has always been a good race for us, especially with Matco Tools, which is our hometown here in Stowe, corporate headquarters. But when we come out here, it's like last year, that was a hard pill to swallow with racing against Larry Dixon and losing by like a couple thousandths of a second, like getting him off the line, going down the racetrack. And we just had a little mishap where we started spinning just a little bit at the end where he nipped us. So with that being said, this year we're definitely going in here with a little bit of remorse, and I mean, we're amped up, pumped up, and we just want to take it one round at a time because our sport's hard, but we definitely want to bring that win home here at Norwalk.
And even though you're not from Cleveland, you feel like the hometown guy because you have the hometown sponsor.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when we come out here, I mean, with Matco Tools, with all their distributors, this race is huge. We have close to over 500 people out here just like in Matco attire. You know what I mean? And then the fans and everybody just rocked on, you know, and then our hometown's Indianapolis where our race team's out of, so we have a lot of people come out of Indy to come watch this race. It's only 5 hours away, and it's like, it's Oasis out here, but this is drag racing world out here. You don't realize how big drag racing is here in Cleveland until you come out to the track in Norwalk. It's huge.
How do you get somebody who's never seen the sport to come out and watch your race this weekend? What could you say to them that would bring them out to the race?
Well, what I say to them all the time is if they always go to 4th of July to see fireworks, these are live fireworks. You know what I mean? When you sit in the stands, you feel the boom of the 8,000 horsepower, 14,000 foot-pounds of torque in the stands in the butt of your seat. And you'll see header flames jumping out 10 foot high, sits off car alarms in parking lots. It's like a number 2 on the Richter scale. It is nothing like it. And TV does it a little justice, but the real justice is when you man up and come see it in person.
So I guess I don't even have to ask you the next question, but for you, what's the thrill about sitting in that cockpit of yours and just letting it rip?
Well, the thrill's the intensity. I mean, anybody that's like side-by-side competition, NHRA drag racing is where it's at. You know, we're lining up in these cars. We're going to go over 325 miles an hour in 3.7 seconds, and we're going to win these races by a thousandth of a second. Not a hundredth, a thousandth of a second. We're going to be close side-by-side racing at this, you know, at the edge of your seat with the raw thunder of nitromethane going through those windpipes of those race cars. It's incredible. You have to be there. You have to see it, and that's why I love doing what I do. I mean, I was born up and raised around this sport, but that's what got me into it, and that's why I'm driving today.
Yeah, how does a kid from New Jersey that's a college track star end up racing, you know, a drag racer, and let alone a successful drag racer?
Well, it's as simple as this. I grew up around the sport. My dad and uncle were weekend warriors. Basically, we were sportsman racers. We didn't do it at the high level. It was like we bought the junkyard cars and we went drag racing 990s, you know what I mean, index. So it was a lot of fun and growing up around it, and this is truly a kid's dream. I was at the fence 1986 watching Big Daddy Darn Garlits race at my home track in Englishtown, New Jersey. Now I'm sitting behind the driver's seat because I was able to go up and see what they do and how they did it, and I actually living my dream by being at that fence, and I got me on the race team, and by getting on the race team, I worked my way up through the grassroots to get to where I'm at now, and it's definitely a dream come true.
This week, just the whole build up to it, what's it like for you and your team and your family, because they do come with you on this trip? It's
a big build up. I mean, when you come here to Norwalk, I mean, they have a first class racing facility here, like one of the best ones on the tour, and they load over 100,000 people through there in a weekend. So it's big, it's huge, and when you go out there, you want to come out here, you want to do well, because it's like a spectacle. This is like kind of like our all-star weekend starting right now, because we're coming to Norwalk. You get a pound of ice cream for $1. I mean, so they pull all the stops. This is one of the big stops of our carnival, NHRA Drag Racing Carnival, we call it. So it's really cool to come out, and it makes it special when you win here, especially for me in general, because with Matco being here, and then just the family coming in, and my family from New Jersey comes over and see it. So it's kind of almost like a hometown race for me, being said.
Just one last question, just about the whole race in general. Where are you in the season, and what does this race mean over the course of the season for you guys?
Well, this race is huge because we're getting really close to starting our countdown. We have about 6 races left before our countdown starts for the championship. And this race right here is a draw because after this race here, we're going to start going into the, pretty much almost going into our western swing. We're going on the West Coast, which pretty much once we get done with that, the countdown's on. So when we come here, we have to really start getting our grabs going on right now. And our team's 4th in points. The top 5, my teammate Tony Schumacher with the U.S. Army Cars, number 5, Spencer Massey's 3rd, and we're literally in Dale Worsham's 1st in the points. Our point system right now, the top 5 cars are within 90 points of each other. I'm 70 points out from the points lead. In one race, I can be 1st in the points. So our racing's real tight right now. So this race is real critical how it ends up, because you want to end up in the top 5 going into the countdown. We like to be in that number 1 spot because you get 20 extra bonus points. And those points really come down with 6 races left. So this race right here has a lot riding on it because we're building momentum going into the countdown. And right now we're coming up from a runner-ups finish from our last race. We'd like to get a win, another win. You know, so it all plays part in Norwalk. We like to really start peaking right now.
Do you get points to win this? Excuse my ignorance. Do you get points to win this race? Is this?
Oh yes, oh yes. It all calculates. It all calculates for that big marathon run. It actually sets us up for that countdown. See, you know, we want to position ourselves in the right position, because when the countdown starts, if you want to be in the top 3 positions, you're really getting some extra gravy points to start off. But everybody's back in tight, but every point counts, and we want to be at the top of that leaderboard.